What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I am coming at you from the Valero in Paws Valley, Oklahoma. I-35 exit 72. We are about 3 miles away from my drop-off tomorrow morning at the Walmart distribution center. This is my favorite Walmart to deliver to for a number of different reasons. First of all, there's multiple truck washes within 2 miles of the location, one that's right there. Ample parking regardless of what time of day or night you come in here. There's a place to get fuel immediately if you need to fuel a reefer, if you had to drop something somewhere. So this is my favorite Walmart to drop at. Been on a few good loads lately. I sat down in Laredo, Texas for a while. Got a load from Laredo, Texas out to 2 drops out in Utah. One in Salt Lake City, one in Corinne, Utah. I think I spoke about that on this channel. And I told my fleet manager, listen, I did some favors in Laredo. Can you hook me up? Don't deadhead me out of here. Got a load out of Logan, Utah, going to Bakersfield, California. So that was a good load. Delivered out in Bakersfield, California. Sat a couple hours. I would have been fine sitting to the next day, to be honest with you. I really wasn't. I'm getting to that point where I'm really not that anxious to drive, but you know, with the current state of everything, that's enough motivation for me to keep pushing. But got a load, a produce load, picking up down at the Lineage Walmart cross dock situation down there in Colton, California, off of Miguel Bustamante. Picked that up and it came out here to Paws Valley. Great load all the way around. Thanked my fleet manager for that load, and he's like, hey man, this is gonna be a tight load. I'm a little concerned about the 90. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, well, you know, the appointment's pretty tight and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Really all it's going to take is somebody to get out there, pick up the load, you know, in my case, run it out 150 miles, and then, you know, that's when my clock's going to basically die, and then run 630 miles a day to get me out here. And he's like, well, I'm going to go ahead, you know, normally they drop these loads off at 03, 0200 in the morning. I'm going to ask for the latest appointment possible. And I did the math. I was like, listen, I'm going to be out there at, you know, 1600 the day, you know, the day before. So set the appointment whenever you want. I mean, if you set the appointment at midnight, I just come here, shut down, split my log, deliver it, and then finish out the break. But do what you want to do. So he ended up setting the appointment for 0800 tomorrow, which is great. Gives me a chance to get a full 10. And then basically deliver this load tomorrow with the full clock and go from there. But it really made me think about how some people run their logs. You know, I've watched a couple YouTube videos, and, you know, one of these YouTube videos, the guy that was doing the video was complaining about a load that his dispatcher gave him, and he was saying that his dispatcher doesn't know what he's talking about because he doesn't have time to pick up and do all this stuff and deliver and all. He doesn't know how to run his logs. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you don't know how to run your logs, you are handicapping yourself. And then you're like, well, Lyle, I don't want to split log, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And I'm gonna say, even for selfish reasons, learning how to run your clock allows you to run when you want to run, day, night, allows you to switch schedules. It allows you to do a bunch of things. It's not just about delivering freight faster. It just gives you more flexibility. Enough about that. You know, this has been a bad market, and, you know, you have a lot of people that are whining, particularly on Facebook. And I'm looking at it, and, you know, like I always say, everybody wants to be a businessman until it's time to do businessman type shit. And, you know, they're talking about quitting and going somewhere else, and, you know, they're sitting this long for another load or whatever. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when me and my wife were going through our financial struggles, and luckily our kids didn't do this, but I could see this happening. Christmas comes and you're dealing with your finances and your personal pain and you got kids complaining about what's happening for Christmas. You know, that's what some of these drivers remind me of. Like, for some reason, Prime should be excluded from the pain of the freight market right now. But I got thinking about this, and what I really want to express to you, even if you're one of the people that's whining, you know, sometimes that's just a young thing. I used to whine a lot when I was younger too, 20s, you know, whatever. A bad market is not all bad. A bad market, and I'm going to put this into context. You know, I was in the mortgage business. I went through 2 downturns in the mortgage business, and then I was in the car sales business and went through 1 downturn there. And what downturns do, if you're self-aware enough and aren't crying over it and, you know, feeling all this self-pity and everything, you'll realize that if you're able to survive that market, the skills and stuff that you're going to learn from that's going to make you much better at anything that you do on the personal level, business level, whatever. Speaking about it from a mortgage standpoint, you know, when the mortgage industry is good, it's like printing money. You don't really have to do anything. Go to work, answer a few phone calls, do whatever you want to do, and you're going to make money. When the market gets bad, that's when you're sharpening your skills. That's when, if you're not a good cold caller, you become a good cold caller. You know, because you have to out of necessity. If you're not one that likes to get out and network with realtors, home improvement companies, bankers, whatever, you're going to end up doing those things if you want to survive, and it's going to sharpen your skills along that. If you were one of those people that if the deal wasn't exactly right, or the customer was giving up, you know, a little bit too much resistance, rather than trying to, you know, be a better salesperson, you just, you know, kick that customer to the curb. There's another one behind you. And it's the same thing in the trucking industry. You know, if you're able to make it through this and do the things that you probably should be doing to make it through this, and I'm not going to tell you how to run your truck, do it how you want to do it, but whatever it's going to take to get through this, and a lot of this is going to be on the personal side. If you're somebody that, you know, is out there having a lot of personal debt, maybe that's what you take out of this, and that's what you take forward with you in life. But having a bad market is not always a bad thing. And if you're in the right position, a bad market is where more money is made. It may not be in trucking or whatever, but it could be in any endeavor outside of trucking. So I'm just saying, instead of whining, try to find the positive that can come out of this situation. And I'll be honest with you, a bad market, as much as you don't want to see people fail, it basically cleanses the market. It cleansed it in the mortgage, you know, it cleanses it, and then you're kind of reduced down to, like, you know, like in the mortgage business, we say, you know, it would reduce it down to the people that should be there. Because if you're able to go through that, then you've proven that you have what it takes. And it's going to be the same thing in this, whether it's companies going out of business or, you know, me going out of business potentially. I'm just joking about that. You know, I spoke with Myra today, and you know what? I gotta say, my new driver Jan's been putting in that work, trying to pick up some of this slack for Myra's truck being down. So I gotta give a shout out to him for that. Hasn't all come to fruition yet, but he is running, getting listen, he had a pre-plan. I think he might have even had a pre-plan before he even picked up the load for his last one. So he's like set up for 2 loads right now. But got to give a shout out to him. And then Myra is like, you know, having her take a week off of work. Well, she had a week off of work. Then she came back, and then the truck had the little transmission stock issue. So she took had to take another week off. And to be honest with you, that's like trying to keep a horse in the stable right there, because she's a thoroughbred trying to get out there. But she says she's ready to go and get back on the grind, and that's going to start leveling things out for me. But, you know, I was talking to her because I pay out bonuses once a month, just the way me and my payroll lady do it. And And I was talking to Myra, and she's like, because I said, it's about that time, how much do you want? Do you want all of it, some of it, whatever? And, the loyalty that you can build by treating somebody right. She's like, she's like, I'm fine, but I didn't even want to ask because I know that you've been going through a lot of stuff, and, and I didn't want to, tell her I'm fine. I mean, I've been going through it, and personally, I haven't been bringing, much or anything in because of, the situations that have been happening, but it's not, I have enough money on the personal side, and then I have money on the business side in emergency funds to where it's uncomfortable. I mean, you don't like going through it, but if worse came to worse, I'd just pay off the truck and then just not have a payment, or I do something like that to where it wouldn't be an issue. So financially, I'm fine there, almost regardless of what happens, but it's just a little uncomfortable to be going through, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I don't like staying out this long. As you can see by my hairdo, we're almost at the height of like the first Lionel Jefferson from the Jeffersons right now, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get through this, because sometimes you just gotta do the things that you don't want to do. And I'm saying this because my wife just asked me, when am I gonna come home? And I was like, I don't know. I gotta have things level out. But gotta give a shout out to Jan, my newest driver, Myra. She's gonna be ready to head back out, and my fleet manager has definitely been taking care of me, because I was in 2 places where I see a lot of people deadheading out of, and I was able to get good loads from both of those locations. So don't always focus on the bad stuff. I'm saying that in all honesty. It doesn't feel good while you're going through it. I just did a video, my previous video, I kind of spoke on a situation that Drivers Lineup YouTube channel is kind of going through right now, and I can understand exactly where they're coming from. And the only thing I can say, and if you're following this situation where you just feel like there's no hope, almost like I've been there, and what I had to do was do uncomfortable things that I didn't want to do, and just put your head down and work your way through it. Everybody's gonna get through it, unless you give up and become homeless or something like that. But everybody's gonna get through it. When you get through it, you're gonna pick up habits that are gonna make you better in the future, on the personal side and on the business side. I've beat that horse dead enough. I hope somebody's been listening, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No hippie trucking. Oh, wait. That Facebook little video where they talk about there's a little chart and it says you need to figure out how much you have to fuck around to find out. Saw 2 of those instances yesterday. Accident between cars who were racing in Albuquerque, right outside of Albuquerque. A little bit after that Flying J on the west side, some cars were racing, and one of them found out how much he had to fuck around to find out. And then there was in Arizona, just crossed the border from California going to Arizona. There's a car that's behind me, super close behind me. I'm not really thinking about it. I don't really care, but I know he's back there. And the trailer that I have right now, I am prominently displaying a check or an ABS light on. So I passed up this highway patrol guy, and I saw him pulling out, and I was like, did he? He can't be getting me for this, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, he pulls out and lights up the car that's right on my tail. So he couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 feet off of the back of the trailer. So he found out how much he had to fuck around to find out. So that was good. Anyway, I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.